Welcome back to Clark's Ring Rants. Let's get straight into today's video. So, coming off the back of Moses Itauma's knockout victory against Jermaine Franklin over the weekend, the main question is, who can he fight next? Who can actually give him some rounds? Who can test him? And is he ready to be thrown in for a world title? Remember, the kid is only 14-0. He's only 21 years of age. So there's absolutely no need to rush him, even though we might all be really excited about this once-in-a-generation talent. So let's just strip it back, let's slow down and have a look at who Moses Itauma could and should fight next. Let's get into it. For me and many other people, the obvious next opponent for Moses Itauma is Hrgovic. If we look at the WBO rankings, Moses Itauma is ranked at number 1 and Hrgovic is ranked at number 2. Now, we all know Hrgovic recently had that fight with Dave Allen announced, and I think that's going to be an easy win for Hrgovic. So, assuming he comes through that, I see absolutely no reason why that fight can't be made next. The only potential roadblock stopping that fight from happening would be the absolute king's ransom that Hrgovic is going to demand to get in the ring with Moses Itauma. He himself is on the cusp of a world title shot, so Frank Warren is going to have to overpay to get Hrgovic in the ring. But I think that's a great next opponent for him. Hrgovic is aggressive, he's accurate, he's going to attack Moses Itauma, he's going to stick it on him, he's going to ask him some questions. But at the same time, he's there to be hit. He's not going anywhere. He's quite slow. It can look quite cumbersome. So it'd make for an interesting fight. He'd definitely ask Moses Itauma some questions, but I would still make Moses Itauma the favourite in that fight due to his hand speed, his foot speed, his coordination, his variation. But Hrgovic would definitely be far and away the toughest fight of his career, in my opinion, for the reasons I just mentioned. He's probably got the best chin in the division. He's accurate with his punches. He's got a good offense. He's aggressive. He's really going to set about Moses Itauma. I don't think Hrgovic is a fighter that would go into his shell against Moses Itauma. So I think that's a great next fight for Moses. It's just, how likely is it? I think from a financial point of view, Frank Warren may have to take a hit on that show to get Hrgovic in the ring, but it would be worth it because it'd be valuable experience and it'd be valuable rounds at this stage of Moses' career. The main problem now for Frank Warren and Team Itauma is how on earth are they going to convince anyone of any name brands to get in the ring with Moses Itauma? It's just not worth it. They've seen what he did to Franklin compared to what Joshua and Dylan White did to Franklin. They've seen what he did to Dylan White. He stopped him in a round. Most people aren't going to fancy their chances in a fight against Moses Itauma, so they're going to have to be paid an enormous amount of money to get in there with him. If we look at the rankings as well, we've got people like Martin Bakole. I think that would be a good fight, but we don't know where Bakole's at. Is he really going to fancy that fight coming off his long layoff? F.A. Jagba's highly ranked. He's on a good run of form, but he's signed to Zuffa now, so how likely is that fight? We've got Frank Sanchez and Richard Torres. They're going to be fighting each other soon. I think the winner of that fight, I think that's a good fight for Moses Itauma. He did, however, turn down that final eliminator. Maybe that was for monetary reasons, but I think if they could revisit that, that's potentially a good fight. One opponent that's not been mentioned, but I think could be a really good fight and he'd give him some rounds. He's probably got the second best chin in the heavyweight division after Hrgovic. That'd be Jarrell Miller. Now, I know we're not all Jarrell Miller's biggest fans. He's done some pretty bad stuff in the past, but it'd be a good opponent. He's solid. He's going to come forward. He's going to apply the pressure. He's got a good gas tank. And he would be able to sell the fight with Moses Itauma. We all know Jarrell Miller's got a bit of a mouth on him. He'd build the fight up. There'd be some intrigue there if Moses Itauma was to take on Jarrell Miller. I think that's a really good next opponent. But let's see if Miller can get through his next fight against Pero, if he can win, and if his hair can survive the fight. They could also look to revisit the Murat Gassiev fight. Now, this fight was originally touted after Murat Gassiev knocked out Kubrat Pulev cold in the back end of last year. He is the WBA regular champion. We all know Moses Itauma is ranked very highly by the WBA. He's also number 1 there. So that's a fight that makes sense for all parties. Gassiev, no one's really talking about him. There's not much demand or clamour for him to fight anyone. He's not going to be really making too much money. So why not fight Moses Itauma? He did initially call on the fight, saying he'd be really keen on it. He thinks he's got the beating of Moses Itauma, but that one went quiet. Moses looked to move in a different direction. He was meant to fight Franklin. Don't forget that Jermaine Franklin fight was supposed to happen in January. It had to be pushed back due to injury. So in an ideal world, we would have already seen Moses Itauma out twice this year. Frank Warren said he's going to look to fight in July. Why can't that July opponent be Murat Gassiev? They'd be able to get him over to the UK. It'd be a good payday for him. Like I say, Gassiev's not really got anywhere else to go. So I think that's another good potential opponent for Moses Itauma. I think he'd give him rounds as well. He's tough, Gassiev. But again, I would pick Moses Itauma to win. I think the hand speed, the foot speed, it'd all be too much. The combinations, the feints, the variations. Gassiev can be a bit crude and a bit of a plodder, but he does have a punch. He's got a puncher's chance. And we don't know how Moses would react if he was hit by Gassiev, because I'm pretty confident in saying Gassiev would be the hardest puncher he's been in the ring with yet. So that's another interesting potential fight for Moses Itauma next. It'd be an incremental step up. Gassiev offers more offensively than Franklin did. He's not as good defensively, but he's going to go for it a bit more. He's going to have no choice, and it could break out into a firefight. I think that one would be really interesting as well. We've also got Bakadir Jalilov floating about, the highly decorated amateur. He's 16-0, but how seriously is he taking his career? He really needs to get a move on, and that would be a great fight, him versus Moses, two big hitting southpaws. But would they be able to get Jalilov in the ring? How much interest would he have in that fight? He's never really seemed to fully commit to the pro game. He keeps dipping his toes in and out and going back to amateur boxing. But that's a good potential opponent. Two unbeaten prospects, two people rising through the ranks. Why not match them together? Jalilov, he's not really doing anything. Maybe they could get him in the ring, get him over to the UK, and he could challenge Moses Itauma. Then we've got a few other people floating about. Guido Vianello, it's an okay opponent. It'd just be a keep busy fight, but it'd be more rounds. It'd be a different style for Moses Itauma to look at. I think that's the most important thing now. Yes, I did say in my last video, he's probably going to fight for a world title next, but there's no rush. He's only 21 years of old. Now I've had time to reflect, digest the fight. Why rush him? There's absolutely no need. I spoke about what happened to Anthony Joshua when he was rushed into his world title fight. There was no room for him to learn after he reached championship level. It was tough opponent after tough opponent after tough opponent. Why not slow down with Itauma? He's not going to break Mike Tyson's record. Just give him these learning fights. Let him look at different styles. Let him gain more experience. Let him mature physically, emotionally, and mentally. And then when he's ready for the world title, grab it, seize it with both hands. But if an opportunity arises that is going to be too good to turn down for Frank Warren, for Moses Itauma, I think they should probably take it, because he's capable of winning. It's just, is he capable of kicking on after that? So just to recap, a few potential opponents next for Moses Itauma. I've gone with Filip Hrgovic, I've gone with Jarrell Miller, I've gone with Guido Vianello, I've gone with Bakadir Jalilov, and Murat Gassiev for his WBA regular belt. But what do you think? Who could Moses Itauma fight next? Are these fights realistic? Are these guys going to want to get in the ring with him? Or are they just going to swerve the fight? Are they going to price themselves out? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, share, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.